Elves. Pointy ears, long lives, haughty attitude. Genshin Impact has its fair share of elves, but never once has it been explained or even addressed. You know what that means? I put in way too much work to figure out why. First, I categorize the different varieties of special ears, and the most obvious category is Alice and Klee's long, downturned ears. Those two have unknown origins, have incredibly long lives, and Alice knows an awful lot about human genetics. This type also includes Nahida and Rukkhadevata, who are both avatars of Irminsul, a Dragon Age tree later reprogrammed by Celestia. We then have two Fae with Linnea and her sister Seleno. We're gonna talk about all that Fae stuff collectively later, since they're far from the only ones on this list. Last is Eonson, and oddly enough, Tepetlosaurs. For Eonson, she's of a bloodline that keeps her family extremely short, known as the Blood of Egungun. This is an African equivalent of Fae, Yokai, or whatever other word you want to use. Specifically, it's an ancestor, spirity type being. So far, there's not the greatest correlation between Fae, Leaf Girls, and aliens, other than them all being ladies. Some are short, some are tall, some are superhuman, and some can see the future. Real mixed bag with these ones. Category 2 is long pointed ears without the downturn. Snezhnaya gives us a whole gaggle of Fae with this type, those being Pochinella, Noi, the Mystery Child, and Vejna and her people, the Vila. These are people the Bel-Yizar loved more than humans before he took a trip to the next group. Hyperboreans, genetically engineered humans from the far north. This includes Lauma, the Frostmoon Scions, and very likely, the Zaritza. These bloodlines were among the first created by Celestia and were eventually wiped off the map with a nail. After that, we have two ladies left, Layla and Chaska. Layla was revealed by our bird-headed friend to be a descendant of Tuletula, a people born from the tears of Nabu Malikata when the other angels were de-evolved. This makes Layla at least a little bit angelic, as her pointy ears and blue hair are genes passed on through the ages. This also means that the Goddess of Flowers almost definitely had blue hair and pointy ears. Chaska, though, doesn't even know her own backstory. We have no heritage to look through, no story to decipher. All we know is she has superhuman strength and was able to grow up strong and healthy despite an abyss infection. She does have one connection to Layla, though. They both have a split personality. Layla has her sleeping self with unbound confidence, and Chaska has her savage abyssal self, which she had to duel in her mind. Both strip away their inhibitions. Category 3. Medium pointy ears. This one's pretty easy, only including the Baku of Inazuma, what's probably the Domovoy in Snezhnaya, and the angel Nicole. Though that last one, Nicole shows us an image of other angels. She is the only one with elf ears, the rest are round and normal. Nicole is also the only angel who is able to keep both her body and her mind, along with being among the last angels ever created. While it's never outright said, it's implied that she was the heavenly envoy to Hyperborea, or rather a satellite city of it. After all, her advanced and philosophy-heavy home had a nail dropped on it, while the equally old and equally nailed city of Long Gone was still trying to figure out farming. As an extra note, Zebai, one of the older angels, had very normal ears. Zebai also has 3 personalities, furthering the connection for Layla and Chaska. Category 4 is short pointy ears. This is by far the smallest, as we only have 3 men as examples. The Dragon Sovereign turned Oceanid human, Nuvalet. The yokai Arataki Ito, though his blue Oni cousins lack this feature. The oddest one of all, though, is Dahlia, the seemingly normal human. Well, I'm here to tell you he's anything but normal. Not only does he have pointed ears, but he also has a star tattoo on the back of his leg, not unlike Albedo's. This mark, as he explains, is like the signature of an artist on his artificial body. It is a completely unique symbol for each alchemist to place onto their homunculi. This tattoo is a symbol we've seen before. It's on Albedo's back. It's Albedo's signature. To double down on this, there is an alchemical ideal, Rebus. This is the perfect human being, half male, half female. And what is Dahlia? An exclusively female name. As far as I can find, there is no male usage for Dahlia outside of this twink. As for why Albedo would create his own homunculus, it's pretty simple. He was tasked with finding the truth of the world by his mother, Rhine-daughter. On his path to do so, he would need to perfect his alchemy. On screen, we even see him create an improvement to himself in Durin. You see, real-world alchemy has several stages to crafting the Philosopher's Stone, a perfect ingredient for the elixir of life and immortality. The stages are Nigredo, Albedo, Rubedo, and Citrinitas. Those translate to blackening, whitening, reddening, and yellowing, as the final product is supposed to be golden. Albedo, as you can see, is the second step of 4 on the way to perfection. Durin, meanwhile, is called Rubedo, the third step. The full chalk alchemist is well on his way, and fully capable of making a run-of-the-mill homunculus at any time in the last 20 or so years. It's also not unusual to see Albedo create life. 2 quick tangents. First, am I the only one who absolutely despises Dahlia for his popcorn idol animation? Did his actress really have to swallow the microphone? Surely more subtle folly noises would have been better, no? Second, the Rebus has been present in Genshin lore since Enkanomiya, where we learn that Phanes is androgynous and hatched from an egg. Definitely an alchemically created primordial human. Here's a tiny category before the real last one. Durin doesn't have any ears. Really. I even went and clipped into his model and found nothing. Weird. Final category. Animal ears. We got Shalonin, Diona, and Lynette, the cats, Sucrose, Yaimiko, and Tainari, the foxes, Goro, the dog, Vressa, the cow, Ouran, the bat, and Kachina, the chinchilla. These are all bloodlines with animal ears. Not really much to say on this one. We know animal features appear on some of the other categories, like Hyperboreans having antlers and turning into reindeer. That brings us to the Fae thing I hinted at earlier. The Bel-Yizar loved only his Fae brethren until he took a trip to Hyperborea. After returning, he started treating humans as equals. What he found was a girl in a pod. To further explain, the quest line for the Frostmoon Scions ends in us discovering logs from Lauma's ancient ancestors. According to these documents, the people of Hyperborea had pretty extensive genetic tailoring. After they got nailed, they kept their upgrades through good old-fashioned eugenics. When the late Bel-Yizar wandered its ruins, he learned of yet unrevealed secrets kept by the Golden City that changed his understanding of himself and the world. He also found that baby human girl named Oxinia, whom he raised as his own. So, what deep secret could have changed a Fae supremacist into a king of equality? Well, I'm sure most of you picked up on the extremely subtle hints, so I'll just say it. The source of elf ears in Teyvat is through genetic engineering. No magic, no mysticism, no ghost blood. Only science far beyond our capabilities. Back in the days before Archons, before the gods, there was the age of the primordial humans. These were the first humans seeded by Thanes to propagate the planet, and Nicole credits them and not the Heavenly Principles with creating her sisters. Seeing as the name Teyvat means Ark, the Noah kind, not Survival Evolved, It's very likely that these humans were frozen throughout their long stellar journey to their new home. They were to set up shop after escaping the Abyss, adapting to their new environment through gene editing. This is likely the true origin of the elf ears. A byproduct. A harmless mutation. For some reason, the powers that be decided to alter normal humans into the different fey and furry varieties now known across the land. But those days were pretty short-lived, as here comes Nibelung with the steel chair! For more proof, the heavens had already created the mythical Adepti by the time of the War of Funerary Flame, where everyone got nailed. Zabai was counted among their numbers, and Zhongli has been around long enough to be good friends with angels. Through the 7.0 livestream, we now know that the Tsaritsa and her fey ears also predate Teyvat's first apocalypse. We also see the people of Hyperborea, who say they have mastered the seeds of life, learning how to adapt humans to naturally control the elements as the dragons do, as the future gods will. While most had normal human appearances, we do see elf ears among their ranks. With all that laid out, let's look again at our list of examples. Alice, who has mastered human genetics, and her daughter, Klee. All the Fae, created before Thanes went comatose. The avatars of Irminsul, given human form only after Celestia reprogrammed it. The descendants of artificial, likely biomechanical, angels. Said angels. Another artificial human of less than ideal quality. A dragon reborn as a genetically altered Oceanid. Hyperboreans who mastered the genome and the animal hybrid bloodlines they started. We know they all share common ancestry as they can all interbreed. Klee, Ganyu, Yanfei, Layla, Eonsan, every Half-Montanian, every Conrian, the Frostmoon Scions and their carefully orchestrated heritage, and probably Noel, are all living examples. Deep down, they are all human. Teyvat's elves are simply gene-edited humans adapted to survive different environments and fill different roles. Those of long life were likely meant to be leaders. The furries meant for divine roles, as the reindeer people were. Oni and Agungun as great warriors. Baku therapists. Domovoy help around the house. Vila and Tengu for aerial tasks. Oceanids as local governors, capable of further altering humans as they deem appropriate. Augury birds as a failed experiment to create fortune tellers. Schnegovik for the most frozen lands. Jack Frost to absorb elemental power from the land. Avatars of Irminsul to act as a terminal through which to use the tree. Aranara to further gather information through dreams. Adepti, as some of the first created, to fend off local dragon activity. Lantern Fae to combat the Abyss. So on and so forth. By the way, the Tsaritsa is probably the first angel Koitar stripped of her memory, and the Traveler twins might be Saralainen split in half. Have a good one. Eder out.